teaching solidifies the concepts in your brain. So it's like still worth it to teach things as you're learning, like walk through it and try to break down the concepts even if you're new to it. Some package has been updated so that now it's not compatible, and then you run into like dependency hell and you're trying to figure out what the problem is. And
thank you so much for your time.
Very nice to meet you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much, Alex.
It was fun. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Welcome.
So, what's the most exciting in your job in the past year?
one of the most exciting things has been how much I get to travel for my job. I love speaking and using Laravel and be able to do technical talks, but really getting able to travel and meet different people. Because I interact with a lot of people online on our like social communities, but getting to go to different countries, I'm able to meet kind of different people that I've interacted with online before, but don't get the chance to meet at conferences like just in the US. So it's probably one of the most exciting things, aside just like getting to be part of big, I guess like big ships for Laravel, such as like the Forge launch or the Nightwatch launch as well.
How did AI change your work?
Yes, I didn't really use AI much before I started working at Laravel. Before Laravel, I worked as a full stack developer for a small agency. I didn't really use AI at all. I started working at Laravel, and I started using AI to kind of kickstart the different marketing sites. So like, I didn't really have experience in Blade and Alpine JS before. I had experience in like JavaScript and React and EJS, like certain scripting languages and stuff like that, but not Blade. So I was able to use AI to kind of give it a picture of like a component I'd want, ask it to kind of create that for me. It would give me some kind of like base to start with in the code. And then from there, I was able to like quickly get started. So it helped me kind of learn like Blade and Alpine through it. And I'd say now I use AI a lot for my job, whether it's like ChatGPT to help me with like coming up with ideas for content and different things, Cursor and Claude Code to help with like demos or even kickstart. Like it even helped me with kickstarting kind of the demos for my talk today. But of course, like I'm adding in my own code too. I'm not just like vibe coding this stuff, but I say AI has just helped me kind of like streamline my processes and create more content and code than before.
So, you started web development through a bootcamp at 100 Devs. Did the way you were educated in development have an impact on how you educate today?
That's a really good question. I think it probably did. So Leon Noel is the creator of 100 Devs. And so first of all, when he taught 100 Devs, he taught the bootcamp through like Twitch, right? Which is like a streaming service. So it's not like your traditional like bootcamp. And because of him doing it through Twitch, I started streaming through Twitch. So like I picked up kind of like different strategies from him. And I actually started streaming on Twitch while I was learning web development, which led into me like being on podcast and even like working at Laravel as a DevRel, you know, because I started live streaming and stuff. So somewhat with that, but like in the way I explain things in general, I'd say that comes from like a mix of maybe like how Leon taught it and like realizing like how that worked for other people and how I appreciated that kind of teaching, but also from my background as a teacher. Because before getting into tech, I worked as a high school geometry teacher, and like through like actually teaching high school, it taught me different strategies. And I also just realized like even if you don't feel like you're an expert at something, teaching solidifies the concepts in your brain. So it's like still worth it to teach things as you're learning, like walk through it and try to break down the concepts even if you're new to it. And I'm just like fully embrace that, and I try to use that in my talks or different things.
So, you started off with JavaScript and the MERN stack, and you had to move to Laravel. Was there something you loved on day one, and what gave you a hard time?
With Laravel,
Yes.
the thing I loved from day one with Laravel is like the batteries included. So having like authentication, I was so happy to have authentication like super easy to set up, because when I started it was Laravel 11. So we had Breeze and Jetstream. So I could just use like React Inertia, Laravel Tailwind, and then use the Breeze starter kit, and I would automatically have auth set up. Whereas like with MERN stack, you try to integrate auth and you're having to bring in Passport or something, and every tutorial I would find would be a little bit outdated because it would say it's even like 3 months old in the JavaScript world. Some package has been updated so that now it's not compatible, and then you run into like dependency hell and you're trying to figure out what the problem is. And I never used auth in any of my side projects because of that. Whereas like Laravel is so easy to just start up a starter kit with auth. So I love that right away. You said which one wasn't so easy?
Yes.
I actually really appreciate this about Laravel, but I'd say like backend, right? Because it's like MVC based, and it's structured more like Java and Spring Boot, which I did like dabble in for fun. But compared to like MERN is different, but it helps solidify kind of like the concept of MVC and like OOP based programming and stuff compared to like MERN, because I feel like backend's more a little ephemeral with JavaScript. It's not like a typed language or anything like that.
Well, thank you so much for the interview. Have a nice time here in Amsterdam. And maybe we would see each other in another conference this year.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And yeah, hopefully we do.